My fiancé said, "If you really love me, you'll wait until I'm ready." I said, "I've waited long enough." After 4 years, 2 postponed wedding dates, and 1 more speech about timing, I canceled everything. 3 days later, her sister called crying. A week later, a lawyer called too. Original post: I'm Evan, 33M. My ex-fiancée is Brianna, 30F. We were together a little over 4 years, engaged for 16 months, and for most of that time, I thought I was being patient with the woman I was going to marry. That was the story she liked best about us, that I was steady, safe, reliable, the guy who would still be there when she finally felt ready. Then I realized it was just a nicer word for waiting. Brianna moved into my condo in Charlotte 10 months after we got engaged. The place was mine. Mortgage and utilities in my name. She covered groceries and some small stuff. I handled the mortgage, HOA, internet, car insurance on the shared plan, and almost every major wedding expense because I made more and didn't want money stress to be our problem. I work in logistics for a medical supply company. Stable job. Good money. Brianna worked at a dental office and was very good at sounding soft while quietly getting her way. The first wedding date got moved because she said the fall felt too rushed. Fair enough. We pushed it to spring. I lost a $1,200 venue transfer fee and a $450 florist adjustment, but I accepted it. The second date got moved because she said she felt emotionally overwhelmed and didn't want to walk down the aisle unless she felt 100% certain. That one cost me more. The photographer kept the $1,250 retainer. The caterer kept $900. The venue kept another $1,600. Total damage after both postponements was a little under $5,400, and every time I swallowed it because she'd cry, hug me, and promise this was the last delay. Then last Saturday happened. We were at a tasting with the venue manager, same ballroom, same samples, same wedding that kept becoming another wedding. On the drive over, I told Brianna I needed clarity, not pressure, not a fight, just clarity. I asked for a real date she would actually keep. I said I loved her, but I couldn't keep paying emotional and financial penalties every time she got nervous. She went quiet in that cold, practiced way she had when she was about to make me the problem. The venue manager stepped away to answer a call, and Brianna leaned toward me and said very calmly, "If you really love me, you'll wait until I'm ready." I looked at her for a second, and then she added, "You're making this about your timeline instead of my feelings." That was it. The cleanest possible confirmation that no matter how much time, money, or peace I poured into this relationship, it would never be enough because the goalpost was the point. I put my napkin down and said, "I've waited long enough." She blinked like she didn't process it. I stood up, thanked the venue manager, and walked out. Brianna followed me into the parking lot asking what that was supposed to mean. I told her exactly what it meant. Wedding off. Engagement over. I'd email her a pickup window for her things. I also told her I wanted the ring back by Monday. The ring had cost $7,400. She laughed when I asked for it back. Then she said, "You're being dramatic. We're just having a conversation." I said, "No, you're having the same conversation for the 3rd time. I'm done." From my car, I called the venue. Canceled. Called the photographer. Canceled. Called the florist. Canceled. Emailed the planner. By the time I got home, I'd lost another $3,150 in deposits, but I felt lighter with every cancellation. She came home around 8 carrying takeout like nothing had happened. I already had boxes by the door, labeled shoes, cosmetics, closet, bathroom, office stuff. She stared at them and asked if I was seriously doing this right now. I told her yes. She said I was punishing her for needing time. I said no. I was removing myself from a future that only seemed to exist when she wanted reassurance. She kept saying, "You know I was going to marry you eventually." Eventually. That word made my skin crawl. I told her she could stay with her sister Megan that night and come back Sunday between noon and 2 for the rest. She said she wasn't leaving. I said the condo was mine and I was not spending another night being negotiated with in my own home. She called Megan on speaker like I was supposed to be intimidated. Megan did the maybe everyone should sleep on this routine. I said there was nothing to sleep on. Before Brianna left, I asked once more for the ring by Monday. She looked right at me and said, "I'm not ready to talk about that." Of course she wasn't. That night she sent 19 texts, angry, soft, wounded, insulting. I replied once, "This is over. Please return the ring by Monday and use the pickup window I sent." Then I muted my phone and slept like a man who had stopped waiting for permission to live. Update 1 3 days later, I learned Brianna truly believed I was bluffing. Sunday noon came and went. No Brianna. No ring. At 117, Megan texted from Brianna's phone saying traffic was bad and emotions were high, and could we maybe reschedule, because this was all happening too fast. Too fast. I replied that her belongings would be available until 4. After that, I'd move them to a storage unit for 30 days and send the bill. I also reminded her I wanted the ring returned that day. At 242, Brianna arrived with Megan and her best friend Sloane. Megan tried the reasonable sister routine. Sloane tried fake empathy. Brianna went straight to wounded fiancé. Puffy eyes, oversized sweatshirt, ring still on her finger. She walked in like she still lived there and started crying, saying I was humiliating her over a rough patch. I told her this wasn't a rough patch. Rough patches end. This was a pattern. Sloane asked whether I was really willing to throw away 4 years over one sentence. I said no. I was ending 4 years because that sentence perfectly summarized the last 16 months. Brianna kept circling back to the same point. Why can't you just wait a little more? Why does everything have to be on your schedule? Why are you acting like love has a deadline? I told her love doesn't have a deadline, but commitment should not feel like a hostage release date. Megan laughed before catching herself. I handed Brianna a checklist of everything she still had there. She refused to sign it, said paperwork was cold. I said good, then let's keep this cold. Then I held out my hand and asked for the ring. She froze, looked at Megan, looked at Sloane, then said she needed time because the ring symbolized hope and she couldn't hand hope over in my hallway like a parking ticket. I said the ring symbolized an engagement that no longer existed. In North Carolina, it was a conditional gift. Condition failed. Ring comes back. That set her off. Suddenly I was cruel, controlling, transactional. Sloane said maybe keeping the ring for now was fair considering the emotional distress. I told Sloane it was a good thing the law didn't work by her feelings. Brianna finally took the ring off. I thought that was the end. Instead, she closed her fist around it and said, "I'll return it when I'm ready." Then she grabbed 2 garment bags, 1 box of shoes, and left. That evening, she posted a black screen on Instagram with the words, "Real love knows how to wait." Half her friends filled the comments with heart emojis and passive-aggressive nonsense about men who rush women into forever. I didn't respond publicly. I sent one final text, "Return the ring by Tuesday or my attorney will contact you." That message must have landed because the next morning I got a call from her mother, Denise. I expected yelling. Instead, she asked, "Did she really postpone twice and then tell you to wait again?" I said yes. Denise sighed and said she's been doing the maybe later thing since high school. She thinks time fixes consequences. She asked if I had receipts for the deposits. I said yes. Contracts, screenshots, emails, everything. She said keep all of it, and for what it's worth, I think you're right. Meanwhile, Brianna shifted tactics. She started showing up in places she happened to be. My coffee shop on Tuesday, the grocery store near my condo on Thursday, the park trail where I run on Saturday mornings. I stayed polite, brief, unavailable. Work got better, weirdly. Without wedding drama humming in the background, I focused. My boss told me I was being considered for regional lead by summer. I also joined a Tuesday night running group because I needed somewhere to put the restless energy. That group is where I met Naomi. Nothing dramatic, Just easy conversation and somebody who answered direct questions with direct answers. Sunday night, Brianna sat outside my condo door wearing the gray college hoodie she stole from me 2 years ago. I opened the door because I thought it was a delivery guy. She looked up and said, "I didn't think you'd really do this." That line showed me the whole relationship. She thought I'd wait because I always had. I told her to leave before I called building security. She asked if there was someone else. I said that wasn't her business anymore. She started crying harder. I called security. They escorted her out. Still no ring. Update: 2 things got uglier after the attorney got involved. My lawyer's name is Caleb. Sharp guy, dry sense of humor. He reviewed the engagement receipts, the postponement contracts, my texts, her posts, and the building security report. Then he sent a formal demand letter: return the ring within 5 business days, cease contacting me except through counsel, and stop appearing at my residence or workplace. That should have ended it. Instead, Brianna escalated. First came the bridesmaids. 2 of them texted me paragraphs about compassion and grace and how public humiliation changes people. I hadn't publicly done anything. Brianna had done all the posting herself. Then Megan called crying, saying Brianna hadn't been eating, hadn't been sleeping, and felt discarded. I told Megan I was sorry she was hurting, but pain did not equal ownership of my future or my property. Megan got quiet and admitted Brianna was telling different versions of the story depending on the audience. In one version, I walked out because I had cold feet. In another, I was secretly seeing someone from work. In another, I demanded a courthouse wedding and she nobly refused. The truth was much simpler. I stopped waiting. A few days later, she showed up at my office lobby. She was wearing a cream dress I'd bought for our engagement photos and holding a bakery box like this was some cute reconciliation. Reception called upstairs and said a woman was here claiming to be my fiancée. I said ex-fiancée. Please ask her to leave. They did. She refused. Security came. While they were walking her out, she yelled toward my floor, "You can't throw 4 years away because I asked for time." The whole office heard it. He loved it even more when the next day she sent an email to HR claiming I had financially manipulated her and abruptly displaced her. Problem for Brianna was that she had never paid rent, never been on the mortgage, and had left with witnesses after refusing to return a conditional engagement ring. HR asked for my side. I forwarded the original texts, the postponement documents, and Caleb's letter. HR replied, understood. No further action needed. Then came Denise again. She came by that evening with one small tote of Brianna's leftover bathroom stuff and an apology. Denise told me she had tried to get the ring and discovered Brianna had hidden it at Sloane's apartment because she thought giving it back would mean losing the breakup. I asked Denise if she knew where it was now. She did, and because she was done enabling nonsense, she helped Megan retrieve it. You'd think that was the victory. It wasn't, because Brianna found out her mother helped and something in her flipped. That Saturday, I went to a brewery with Naomi and 2 people from the running group. Casual, loud place, outdoor tables. Brianna either followed me or got tipped off by one of the many people she had monitoring my life. She walked straight up to the table. She looked at Naomi, then at me, and said, "So this is why you couldn't wait 6 more weeks." Naomi barely moved. I told Brianna calmly to leave. She asked Naomi whether it felt good dating someone who abandons women. Naomi said, "I don't know you, and this is not the place." Brianna laughed, picked up the water glass from the table, and dumped it across Naomi's lap. Everything stopped. I stood up. The manager came over. Someone behind us said they were already calling the police. Brianna started crying instantly, saying she was overwhelmed, saying she just wanted closure. Police showed up. Statement taken. Security footage saved. Brianna was trespassed from the property and warned not to contact Naomi or me again. That night, Caleb filed for a civil no-contact order and attached everything. Original texts, office lobby report, HR email, Security incident from my condo, brewery police report. By then, sorry didn't matter much. Evidence did. Final update: the hearing was 2.5 weeks later. By then, the ring had been returned through Caleb's office. Same box. Same appraisal papers, no note, no apology, just a very expensive symbol of a promise she wanted on layaway forever. The courtroom part was almost anticlimactic, which I guess is how you know your documentation is good. Brianna showed up in a navy dress with her hair pulled back, looking like she was auditioning for the role of reasonable woman who had simply loved too deeply. Her lawyer tried the soft approach first: miscommunication, grief, emotional fallout from a broken engagement. My abrupt cancellation had caused distress. Caleb didn't even blink. He walked the judge through the timeline. 2 postponed dates. Non-refundable deposits totaling $85–50 gone because I kept agreeing to wait. Her exact sentence at the tasting. My exact response. My immediate cancellations. Her refusal to return the ring. Her repeated appearances at my condo, office, and regular spots. Her contact through friends and family. Her HR complaint. The brewery incident. Then he played one voicemail Brianna had left from an unknown number. It said, "You don't get to make me wait forever and then act like I'm the problem." The judge replayed that line and asked Brianna if she understood the irony. She cried, said she only wanted closure, said she felt blindsided because she thought relationships were supposed to survive uncertainty. The judge said uncertainty is not a license to harass somebody after they end an engagement. Order granted. 1 year. No contact. No appearing at my residence, workplace, or known social spots. No indirect contact through third parties except attorneys. Afterward, outside the courthouse, Megan stopped me and said, "I think part of her thought if she kept you waiting, you'd never have the nerve to leave." I told her I knew. I got the regional lead promotion 6 weeks after the hearing. Came with a raise of $11,000. I used a small part of it to book a solo weekend in Asheville and the rest to rebuild what the cancellations had cost me. The condo feels like mine again. No wedding binders on the counter. No half-finished seating chart drama. Naomi and I are still seeing each other. Slowly. Normally. When she says she'll be somewhere, she is. I ran my first half marathon last month too. Just bad weather, coffee, and the realization that moving forward feels better than standing still hoping someone eventually chooses you. Denise sent one last message after the hearing. It said, "You were patient longer than most people would have been." I'm sorry she used that against you. That line stuck with me. Because that's really what this was. Not a misunderstanding, not cold feet. It was a long pattern where patience was always demanded from me and accountability was always postponed for her. Wait for the date. Wait for the feelings. Wait for the certainty. Wait for the ring. Wait for the apology. Wait for the version of her that would finally act like building a life together was something she wanted to do instead of something she wanted me to keep proving I deserved. Love can be patient. Sure. But patience is not the same thing as permanent suspension. It is not noble to keep your life on hold while someone enjoys the comfort of your loyalty without offering the security of their own. At some point, waiting stops being loving and starts being self-erasure. The day Brianna told me, "If you really love me, you'll wait until I'm ready," what she meant was, stay exactly where I left you while I decide whether I ever want to arrive. For a long time, I thought being the good man meant staying. Turns out being a good man sometimes means leaving quietly, documenting everything, and refusing to beg for a future that keeps getting postponed. If you've ever been the one left waiting while someone kept moving the finish line, let me know in the comments whether you think I did the right thing. And if this story hit home, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.